The time has come for lions to tell our own story. Yes, you're listening to Lion's Voice. I is Dejazmatch hailing from the island of St. Croix. Yeah, I'm bringing to you Rastafari vibes. Can you feel it? Rastafari. Babylon born when Rasta come together. Can you feel it? Rastafari. Because Babylon done when I and I come together. Look how we live together, look how we work together, Oh, Babylon done when Rasta come together. Hail I, Rastafari, His Majesty and Empress men in bless. Yeah man, hailing from St. Croix, Rastafari, I hear you.
Aye.
And I'm wondering if a lot of single brethren, because people talk about, people put up this air of righteousness in the public. But I think some of it too could be that, because a lot of the Rastas say one thing, but they're chasing the quote unquote sexy body ladies, them who are out there showing the things. Does virtuous equate to boring? Is the virtuous woman, because I know a lot of brethren are afraid that I'm going to be with this virtuous woman and I'm going to touch her and she's going to read a psalm for me. I'm not going to get that little love in there where I need to feel good as a man. And, men, regardless, are physical people, we're physical beings as a married man, my wife can say. But talk, it does virtuous mean boring? This is what the brethren them want to know.
True. So I'm an energy woman, so I believe in different types of energy. I'm a Capricorn, so people automatically think I'm boring. So I like to tell people it's not that I'm boring, it's just that if I don't know you, I'm not about to waste my energy truly letting you see who I am. I consider myself a comedian. Anybody who knows me knows that I am hilariously funny. I love to do goofy things. I love to go on nature walks. I love to travel. I love to learn. I love to talk to animals. I'm a nerd. I'm a big nerd about animals and everything nature-y.
Yes.
But virtuosity does not equate to being boring or lack of entertainment. What it is a lot of men, I'm going to be a little bit, this may be sensitive subject.
Go there. We have to talk.
When you say that a lot of men think that virtuosity means you're boring and, intimacy is lacking, a lot of men don't realize that a virtuous woman, actually her needs are different than the average woman. And if you're not, if you're not fulfilling the virtuous woman's needs, she's not going to be able to perform. A lot of men think that it's an easy button, and then there's this stigma about when women get older, oh, they can't blah, 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 blah. It's not that. It's when a woman gets older, that easy button, it doesn't work that hard, because now, oh, we can see through your BS. We can see the fact that you're just trying to do this to get us in bed. No, you're going to actually have to put in the work. We still work just as if we were 20, just as if we were 19. Okay. But now you have to actually put in the work because we're older, we're more knowledgeable. We know what we're worth, and we want you to put in that work. And that's just how physically, how it goes. Women also like to be, we like entertainment. So a virtuous woman is not
this is what we want to know. What is this work? Man, I think, wow, much homework I have to do with this virtuous woman.
Well, Lion Voice, tell them that's the people first choice. Lion Voice, make the lioness them feel nice. Lion Voice, with the lion cubs we sacrifice. Lion Voice, got to show the people them the life. Lion Voice. She's like the flowers in my garden, and her heart has never hardened, and she give me loving in the morning. Babylon, you are go far without no warning. Black woman, I said I wanna be your lover, and I don't want any But no struggle, so we both could help each other. And then I wanna be your lover, and I don't want any other. You alone, I could be my children's mother. But no struggle, so we both could help each other. Started in the village, now we in the city. Journey where we have together, everybody see. Spent a little time out in captivity. Babylon, their plan was to destroy the family. Still I want you to bring a child for me. Maybe in the spring when birds are sing lovely. Maybe we could plan to have a summer baby. I can be the man that you depend on. Put the pen to the paper, made a love song. Babylon, they separated us for so long, and the reason that they hated us was so wrong. Still the most High He created us, we so strong. Then same Kushite and the Dogon. Love your melanin, no follow for them program. Black woman, me not go pass on you for no one. No one, that's my slogan. Black woman, I said I wanna be your lover, and I don't want any other. You alone, I could be my children's mother. But no struggle, so people could help each other.
Greetings in that divine name of His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie I. Glory and honor in the name of his chosen queen, Empress Waziri Menen. My name is Kwasi Bansu, aka Dejazmatch Kwasi, aka Ras Kwasi, aka the Reading Ras, aka the Pan-African Happy Man. I'm a creative industry attorney, I'm an author, I'm an artist, I'm an actionist, and right now I am the host of Lion Love. Did you hear what I said? I said Lion Love. Yes, we are starting a new program here on the Lion Voice Network. Welcome to the Lion Voice Network. If this is your first time, we welcome you. Make sure you become a part of the Lion Pride, part of the families. Subscribe, like, and share. We are here on the spear point of a revolution that's happening within the Rastafari and the Pan-African family. The great return has begun. However, we know that you cannot build a nation without the family, the Black family. We know within Rastafari, we are experiencing some of the same challenges that the larger Black family is facing. And so, as a brethren who has been on the front line of the love revolution for so long, married for 16 years with my queen, over 20 years, I think I can qualify myself to add some solution to this problem and to provide a platform where we can talk about some of these burning issues, because we have too many of I and I that, single too many Rastafari, baby mother, baby father. I'm hearing the same dramatics that I'm hearing outside in the world within Rastafari. We have to be an example. Haile Selassie Empress Menen example is so beautiful. So that being said, I've said for some time that I was going to talk directly to the sistren. I don't want to come on this platform and just run my mouth. No, because we have so many ones who are living, who have knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. And that is what we're going to do. I have a very special guest with I right now. This guest, trust me, I was scrolling down my Facebook feed and I saw the sister just very honestly express how she felt about, brethren and dealing with Kingman and thing. And I said, this is the type of topics we talk about on our platform as we look to rebuild the Rastafari family. I reached out to the sister and she has agreed to come and share with the Lion Pride, with the entire family, to talk about this topic. I just told the sister and I say this to the family. I know a lot of firemen, and I know most of them firemen won't touch these topics with a 10-foot pole. This make people tremble to touch this sensitive relationship topic, because a lot of us have our own relationship problems at home. So it's a touchy topic. So we're gonna ask everyone to be gentle in the comments as we engage. This is just the beginning. So I'm long-winded, Empress. You're gonna see that, but I'm working on myself. I'm working on myself. It is an honor to introduce to the Lion Pride, to the Rastafari family, Empress Gennie. Royal blessings on the platform. How is everything with the eye?
Greetings. Everything is well and bright. Give thanks once again for hosting the Eye on the platform. I'm truly grateful that you gave me an opportunity to express just honest feelings.
Yes, and just so everyone is aware, we're gonna get some of the background for the sistren. This is the Lion Voice, where the lions and the lionesses are telling our own story. So we always have to start with context with the story. That's how we do it on this platform. We want to know what the eye journey was. You know, just give us where the eye born and your journey into Rastafari.
Okay, so true. I was born and raised in Oakland, California. I spent most of my youth growing up in the Bay Area between Richmond and Oakland, and spent quite a bit of my college years down there. And I actually moved up to Humboldt, which is up north of California, and finished out my college years there. And I currently reside in Humboldt County. And true, that's where I've been, but my roots have always stayed in Oakland.
Okay, I had the pleasure of visiting Oakland, but we know that Humboldt County is a ganja city. You know what I mean? So we can touch on that a little bit later, what that's like. Um, so what brought the eye a young sister from Oakland, home of the Black Panthers, you know, home of so much Black consciousness and Black militancy. What brought a young sister like the eye attracted you to Rastafari?
But true, you say you're long-winded. I can get long-winded myself, so please pardon me. But true, my journey to Rastafari may be quite strange, but it is a unique one. I first was introduced to Rastafari when I was quite young. My mother has always been Pan-African, and she worked in Oakland quite a bit. So I was introduced to the people that was around her herself, but I didn't quite fully understand what the movement was. And when I was in my early 20s, I took a job at a club, a quite infamous club in the Bay Area called New Caribbean City at the time, if I could mention it. And it was through there where I started to learn more about Caribbean culture. And true, although it's controversial for us to be in a club, you know, drinking alcohol, you know, praying women, that's where I first saw a bunch of Ras and was introduced to that. And through my youth, I would go out to certain, you know, I guess clubs, events, parties, concerts, and would see this culture and was intrigued heavily. So when I got to Humboldt County, surprisingly, it was there when I actually started to get to know people from Jamaica and who followed Rastafari and His Imperial Majesty. And they're the ones that showed me the way. True, I like to tell myself that ever since I was young, I've always had an inkling towards something different. I grew up Christian, heavily grew up Christian, been at Baptist church, stopped going to church when I was 18 because it was just something in my heart that just was just not right, if I can say this, for lack of a better term. So with that motivation already, it was easy for me to engage with one-on-ones who were having reasonings with me about this Black king that was just very intriguing, surprising, all other kind of words, because growing up in the Bay Area in Richmond and Oakland, we're not taught certain things. So it was heartbreaking and exciting for me to hear about Marcus Garvey, uh, His Majesty, Queen Nyabingi, from non-Americans, because in my mind, I thought that Americans had all the history from Africa. You know what I mean? And that's ignorant to say now that I'm older, but at the time I didn't know. So I kept getting reasonings and different information and knowledge from one-on-ones, especially elders. So with that, it was easier for me to say that, you know, I think I want to learn more about His Imperial Majesty, Rastafari, and the faith. And it took me a few years to actually comfortably call myself a Rastafari woman. It wasn't until 2018 or 2017 where I told myself, I'm comfortable to call myself a Rastafari Empress because I'm comfortable in my heart, comfortable in my skin. I'm not worried about worldly values. I'm not worried about what anybody thinks of me about my transition. And as an American, I feel that it's best for me to do what's best in my heart.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
pardon me.
No, continue.
So ever since then, it's just been a continuous journey, and I call myself a forever student, and I don't want people to get the perception that I know everything Rasta or I'm trying to be this perfect Rasta, because I'm not. I don't believe in perfection at all. I'm continuously learning, and through the Most High, I will continue being the best that He wants me to be.
Beautiful, beautiful. So what was it about Haile Selassie that, you know, as a Christian growing up in the Baptist church, of course, we see the title, the conquering lion of the tribe of Judah, that always, you know, sparks curiosity, you know, because you see Judah throughout the Bible. But for the eye, what was it about the emperor that really turned on the light bulb?
Well, true, as an Oakland native and a Black Panther-hearted person, what really struck me about Haile Selassie was the fact that he was able to overcome certain battles, especially when Italy invaded his country. And to me, that was highly important because I don't know how to say this lightly, but I'm pro-Black. I love my people. I love
Yes.
my people. I don't hate anyone, but I highly love my people. So for me, it was striking, surprising, and exciting to learn that this one man, even though he did have help, but this one man was able to overcome, you know, this unfortunate situation, especially from my American knowledge. It seems as though slavery was just an option. It seems as though the white man taking over that's just it, and that's all. There was no fighting against it. There is no rebellion. So to hear that rebellion was very, very interesting and attractive to me.
Okay. Makes sense coming out of Oakland, you know. You know, and that's why Oakland's love Jamaicans and reggae too, because that rebel to rebel connection. You know, I realized that when I went to Oakland, that the people that fighting spirit of the people is still very strong. So,
There.
when was the first time you became aware of Empress Menen? You know, as the feminine balance.
It was actually around the same time as I was getting reasoning and knowledge about Haile Selassie. The elder that would reason with me when I was a bit younger would always mention his empress and would mention the history of them. And that also attracted me to the two of them, is that, you know, they were husband and wife. They
Yeah.
had children. True, she has her history, but at the same time, everybody has their history. So at the same time I learned about Haile Selassie, I learned about his empress as well.
Yes, yes. And that's to me a redemption arc, because she was a victim of childhood marriage, you know. And we say victim, but you know, culturally that was the tradition at the time. Empress Menen actually helped to end childhood marriage in Ethiopia as part of her legacy. Uh, However, you know, as you say, she had a history, but it didn't stop His Majesty, who could have chose any, you know, princess of the realm, from selecting Empress Menen, you know, as his chosen queen. That's why I always use that term, chosen queen, because the Almighty could have chose any, you know, or had a multitude of women, but He chose Empress Menen to be the example for the nation. So I want to get into this. Well, before I do that, what skills and works does the I do professionally? What is your professional? Because you're not just a Rastafari person. I see you're very articulate. I see the immaculate tidiness around the eye, how everything is placed. So what does the I do professionally?
Professionally, I am a business owner and entrepreneur. In 2018, I decided to just take a leap of faith, plant that mustard seed and start my own business. Before that, I had realized that in Humboldt County, there's a real need for Black hair care. True, there are people who braid here and who do dreadlocks, but there was no one that, how do I say this? There was no one who had proper knowledge that you coming from Florida and Jamaica and I coming from the Bay Area were used to. It was a lot of people, a lot of my friends when I was in college would ask me, do you know how to do locks? Do you know how to do locks? Because there's nobody here. Started helping friends. And then in 2018, I realized that it was a real need. So I took a leap of faith, opened up my own business as a naturalista. I do dreadlocks, I do braids, everything natural. I avoid things like weave, straightening hair, and things that kind of hide what's naturally under here. I love teaching my clients to appreciate what God gave you, to appreciate the kinks, the coils, and appreciate the word nap, because nappy is not a bad term. It is actually a beautiful term because it is very unique to we. We are the only types of people who have this type of hair where it coils
Yeah.
and can drop on its own. So ever since 2018, I've been providing services to all my people of color, specifically Black people. I've been trying to teach them the natural way to do things, avoid chemicals. I make my own hair products for my dreadlock clients. And
Nice.
so as a hobby, I crochet on the side.
Okay, industrious, going for the Proverbs 31. I see the whole thing.
Yeah,
So the crochet.
I try to do it all. I actually been crocheting since 5th grade, so it's more of a hobby, and I'm more shy towards my crochet works. It's
Okay.
a thing I like to keep sacred, and I actually catch myself giving away things often with my crochet because it comes from my heart.
Okay, beautiful.
Both my hair knowledge and my hair services come from my heart as well. This is just closer to the soft spot.
Okay, beautiful, beautiful. So, are you comfortable with saying age range? Because I want to give some context. I know it's a sensitive topic. You can give an age range. Are you millennial, Generation X, or you can give your age. What are we talking about?
True. And my roots are from the South, so a lot of my family members believe women don't give their age, but I'm not taboo in that sense. I'm 32 years old. I actually will be 33 on America's New Year's Eve. So.
Okay, beautiful, beautiful. So we have a young, beautiful African sister in here, brethren, and the Lion Pride. Please don't go in our DM with no foolishness. We're gonna get into.
They can, but I won't respond.
Okay, beautiful, beautiful. So tell us, what has been your journey in terms of dealing with brethren within the movement? What has that journey been like?
That's an excellent question. So it has been a quite interesting journey. True, as you get older, you start to have more deeper realization and reasoning within yourself. And I've started to realize that when I became Ras, or when I first decided to confidently call myself a Rasta woman, not only did I become unattractive to my family and friends, but I was unattractive to a lot of men. And at first, I was under the assumption that it was only non-Rasta men. But over the last recent years, I'm getting this weird realization that Rasta men as well, and true, I just want to have a disclaimer really quick. My experiences dating all come from California. So
Okay.
everything that I'm mentioning as far as my experience is dealing with Rasta Jamaican men or Rasta Caribbean men in California.
Yeah.
So I don't want people to think that I'm overgeneralizing and talking about all Rasta men anywhere.
Yes.
True.
Okay.
This
Okay.
is unfortunately my little bubble. This is all I've had to deal with. But I've noticed that the men here, the Rasta men here, also may put on Facebook or verbally say they're interested in finding an empress and want to settle down and start a tribe. But from my experience, it doesn't always go that way. And my experience also has I guess shown me that Rasta men, a very, I guess here again, California, the men rarely deal with a Rasta woman. I'm not sure how many Rasta men really have dealt with a Rasta empress in a committed relationship. And a lot of the people that I may converse with from time to time, they say that they may have dealt with one or none. And some of the people that, you know, in my past have even said that as well. So it's
Wow.
quite confusing to me. And it puts me in a predicament where I'm like either the first one or the second one. And that's a lot of pressure as a woman or as a person in general.
Wow. So I know historically a lot of brethren, or sorry, a lot of sistren come to the movement through a brethren, you know. So the natural progression would be a brethren is dating a conscious sistren or they're courting a conscious sistren, and then over time she would adopt Rastafari liberty. So you're saying you came completely independent of a brethren and now you're trying to deal with a brethren, or was there a brethren in the picture that helped you along the journey that didn't work out?
So when I first learned about Rastafari, I was dealing with someone. Him and his
Okay.
father did teach me quite a bit. His father, being an elder, did quite teach me a lot. But it wasn't until after I dealt with him, maybe a year and a half to 2 years, that I was at that point of really being a Rastafari, because I already, you know, dealing with him for so long, I knew how it went in terms of a relationship with a woman who's not a Rasta dealing with a Rasta man. He's going to, I hate to say, groom her and try, you know, not try, but, you know, show her the light. I was interested. At the same time, there was something in my heart that made it hard for me to grasp the true concept of being a Rasta woman. I don't know if it was part of my upbringing, being an independent woman, or just the fact that the Most High said that that wasn't for me. It wasn't for me to be that woman, to become a Rasta woman for a Rasta man. And when we were done, I did more research, talked to more people, got more knowledge and reasonings. And that's when I was really comfortable, when I was by myself, when I was alone, when I was able to look at myself and be able to say, okay, I'm doing this for me and no one else, because if I do it for myself, nothing can break me. If I do it for a man, what happens if me and him don't work out? You know, this is real life. What happens if me and him don't work out? He's the one that taught me. So that means all of my knowledge has been filtered from him. So if I don't have him, what am I going to do? True, I'm not saying that I can't gain knowledge outside of him. But if my knowledge was based on him, if the seed that I planted was in his garden, how can I have access to that garden if the garden is gone? I'd rather plant the seed in my own garden, water my own garden, let it flourish, harvest my own fruit, and do it again and again and again. It's more fruitful that way. So I realized it was best for me to follow Rastafari by myself, no matter how hard it was. For all the sisters out there who are doing it the way that I did it, by yourself, not with a Rasta man, please have faith and don't give up, because it will be the most beautiful journey that you will ever endure. And it's the most fulfilling thing to say as a woman that you did this for yourself, because a lot of women will be afraid to do it by themselves.
Is that brethren still a Rastafari brethren?
True. I'm trying to watch what I say, because you know, I know
Yeah,
I know
diplomacy. We're not here for controversy. We're here to have the reasoning. So definitely, I appreciate love the tact. But is that brethren? And the reason that I ask is because I'm gonna, push forward a little bit, because I don't see the problem with sistering having that spark from our brethren, if we're truly supposed to be one flesh, because what I'm hearing from the eye is almost that independent streak that, even if what you're saying is the right thing, I want to go out here by myself and get it for myself to come back. But that could be counterproductive if if we're trying to build together and I'm giving you the truth, but you have to go out there to go get it. You know what I mean? So how do I see that reasoning?
So, True Gift, thanks for asking that question, True. I love having hard conversations, which is one of the things people have a hard time with dealing with me, is I just like being raw, straight up to the point. But one of the reasons why it was easier for me to follow and hail His Imperial Majesty outside of that relationship was because he was slightly, I'll say, confused himself. Most of the knowledge that I did gain was from his father because he was an elder. And it was unfortunate when me and him did split because I didn't like that failure. I did want to succeed. At the same time, I was getting controversial and conflicting knowledge because I was hearing one thing from the elder and then hearing one thing from him and hearing other things from other elders. So it was in my best interest to part ways and to do it that way. I do prefer, however, that I could have done it the natural, righteous way with a man. We build a tribe, yada, yada, years later, children, blah, 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 blah. But unfortunately, my climate doesn't lend me many.
Yes. Well, it's very important because this is one of the things I talk about on my channel for brethren to be ready, to have a plan before you engage with the Empress and a clear vision, because one of the things I say is that women crave security, and when you're not firm in what you want to do, you give off that vibration of insecurity, and women, that's like kryptonite to a woman. They cannot tolerate being around someone, a shaky brethren, you know what I mean? You have to be secure.
No, sir.
Yeah. So talk to us about what have been some of the challenges since the time of that split in terms of brethren that you're seeing out there.
Oh, the biggest challenge, I'll say, is I'll just take from my past current situation, is the fact that it's hard for a virtuous woman to be there for a man, be strong, and him not take advantage of her or take her kindness for weakness. I hate to say that term, but it's been hard for me to be who I am and not also compete against women of the world. It's also seems to be a trend, at least for me, being who I am, having to alter my appearance so I can look more attractive, because although he says he wants a Rasta Empress, he's looking at this. I've actually had someone tell me that no matter who he's with, he'll look at women because that's what men do, and some other saying. But unfortunately, there are men out there who still believe that no matter what you have in front of you, you can have your cake and eat it too. So I realized that's been a big obstacle. And my most recent obstacle is actually being that woman, being the woman who a man needs, being the woman who wants to take care of his children, regardless if they're hers or not, helping him fulfill his purpose, helping him with just everything, almost as his assistant. And some men can't really see that a woman is doing that from her heart and will take advantage of that. And that seems to be a trend, not just for me. It seems to be a trend for all women who are virtuous, independent, and have a certain strength about themselves. It's not as though our independence means we won't be submissive. A lot of men think that an independent woman will be automatically dominant and controlling in a relationship. So they will over vet an independent woman. Oftentimes we get over vetted because if they see that we're independent, they're like, oh my gosh, okay, she's going to be controlling. She's going to do this because yes, there are women out there who are independent and are controlling. But you
Yes.
can't base that off of every single woman because that's not how it is, especially if she's virtuous. If she's virtuous, you automatically know she's going to be submissive. If you really know the definition of
Yes.
virtuosity, you know that she's going to have some heart to give in to you as her man, as her lion. She's going to be your lioness.
And I'm wondering if a lot of single brethren, because people talk about, people put up this air of righteousness in the public. But I think some of it too could be that, because a lot of the Rastas say one thing, but they're chasing the quote unquote sexy body ladies, them who are out there showing the things. Does virtuous equate to boring? Is the virtuous woman, you know, it, because I know a lot of brethren are afraid that I'm gonna be with this virtuous woman and I'm gonna touch her and she's gonna read a psalm for me. I'm not gonna get that little love in there where I need to feel good as a man. And men, regardless, men regardless are physical people, we're physical beings as a married man, my wife can say. But talk, it does virtuous mean boring? This is what the brethren them want to know.
True. So I'm an energy woman, so I believe in different types of energy. I'm a Capricorn, so people automatically think I'm boring. So I like to tell people it's not that I'm boring, it's just that if I don't know you, I'm not about to waste my energy truly letting you see who I am. I consider myself a comedian. Anybody who knows me knows that I am hilariously funny. I love to do goofy things. I love to go on nature walks. I love to travel. I love to learn. I love to talk to animals. I'm a nerd. I'm a big nerd about animals and everything naturey.
Yes.
But virtuosity does not equate to being boring or lack of entertainment. What it is a lot of men. I'm gonna be a little bit. This may be sensitive subject.
Go there. We have to
True.
talk.
When you say that a lot of men think that virtuosity means you're boring and intimacy is lacking, a lot of men don't realize that a virtuous woman, actually her needs are different than the average woman. And if you're
Okay,
not
talk about it.
if you're not fulfilling the virtuous woman's needs, she's not going to be able to perform. A lot of men think that it's an easy button, and then there's this stigma about when women get older, oh, they can't, blah, 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 blah. It's not that. It's when a woman gets older, that easy button, it doesn't work that hard because now, oh, we can see through your BS. We can see the fact that you're just trying to do this to get us in bed. No, you're going to actually have to put in the work. We still work just as if we were 20, just as if we were 19.
Okay.
But now you have to actually put in the work because we're older, we're more knowledgeable. We know what we're worth, and we want you to put in that work. And that's just how physically how it goes. Women also like to be, we like entertainment. So a virtuous woman is not
This is what we want to know. What is this work? Man, I think, wow, much homework I have to do with this virtuous woman. Tell us some of the things that that brethren need to do to keep the Nile waters flowing. Let's use that language. How does the brethren, what type of things does the brethren have to do?
Well, true. There are a lot of women out there who are, as we call it, sapiosexuals, which means we are actually attracted to knowledge. We're actually attracted to different things. We're attracted to seeing a man work. We're not attracted to the average thing. We want to see your intellect. So men need to understand that not all women are the same. And that sounds very cliche, but that is very true. And you need to dissect that not all women are the same. And you need to take the time to figure out and vet, not over vet. You need to really take the time to accurately vet your woman and see what kind of woman she is so you can be able to truly fulfill her needs. If you know that she's into watching movies, or she's into going on hikes, or she's into traveling, or she's into this or that, do those things so she can have some type of excitement. Don't really think that, okay, we just came from work. It's the end of the night. Let's get in bed and blam, blam, blam. It's not easy. It's not an easy button like that because women are humans. We want to be appreciated. A lot of women actually are entertained by the fact that a man will take the time to appreciate and show them what they want and that they care. It ultimately shows that you care what I want and what I need. And if you, I mean, if you expect something from me, the light has to be turned on.
And that I think is a fear a lot of brethren have, is having to reach that high standard each time to get that light to turn on. You know what I mean? So before, for a brethren like I myself and some of my contemporaries, we do that because that's how we do it. But for a lot of brethren, they would rather go the easy route, or what they think is the easy route. It turns out to be a harder route because you get with someone and there's no alignment, and then we get this cycle of broken families, and it was only good for a moment, which is why we're having this conversation now. And this is why we're being so candid about this conversation, because I think we have to put these things in the open now, because these things are usually whispered, or maybe a sister will talk to a sister, or brethren will talk to our brethren. And so there is a miscommunication, there's a misalignment. And I think if brethren knew that virtuous women, could fulfill their fantasies in that way, just as, but also be virtuous, keep a family together, and you get all the other benefits in addition to that physical intimacy portion, then I think we would have a lot more brethren that are seeking Rastafari sistering, as opposed to, going out there in the world. I see that the eye, keep the eye self physically fit. How important is your fitness to the eye in terms of trad? Because a lot of Rastafari sistering, because of the stress work, we need to work on the fitness. Let me say that, you know what I mean? And that's something that is also very sensitive. Is that something that the eye consciously does, or is that, just genetic blessings?
So I will be honest. I was blessed to be, I guess, have good genetics. But when I was in middle school through college, I did a variation of cheerleading, track, and dance. And through that, I guess I've kept my shape, but at the current moment, I don't have any fitness plans. I don't work out. I do, however, make sure that I stay on my health in terms of my nourishment, and make sure that I eat well. I'm ITALs, make sure I stay on my water. I don't eat out a ton, maybe hardly ever. If I do eat, it's at the vegetarian place down the street from my yard.
Yeah.
Other than I highly focus on what I intake, and I need to probably focus more on physicality. But for now, I focus highly on drinking water and what I eat.
Okay, and I would encourage the eye to incorporate some physical movement, it's crucial.
Yes.
Are you willing to move for love? Because California might not be where you find this brethren, because we love Cali, but Cali also we know is a sinking sand. Yeah, because from I came into the trot, people say California going to drop in the ocean, because Hollywood, all of the, basically a lot of the corruption that spread globally is centered in California. You know what I mean? In terms of culture, global culture. So would you be willing to move for love?
Most definitely. Most definitely.
Okay.
I've come to the realization over the past year or so that California is most likely not the place to find the culture that I truly desire, regardless of dating or not. I just truly desire community. And California seems to be watered down. It seems to be that Hollywood has infected the whole of Cali. And even over the years living in Humboldt, I see the change, how Humboldt has started to, I guess, become more of a metropolitan place versus mountain area. There's a lot more things going up. So I would definitely definitely not mind relocating even outside of Babylon.
Yes, yes. How do you cite repatriation? Is that part of your vision for yourself?
Most definitely. Most definitely.
Thanks.
Africa is one and
What
true home.
what countries are you looking at?
Ethiopia, Ghana, Kenya as well. There are much more, but those are my top three that I guess if I had a bucket list,
Yes.
those would be my realistic bucket list because I do plan to hit at least 2 out of 3.
Okay. Have you been to Africa?
No.
Not yet. All right. All right. We're gonna make that a reality, and I want that I come forward and reason with that. And once you touch on the soil of Mama, you know. And if you're going to Ghana, let I and I know we have a lot of connection there. So I know you have a hard time that you have to leave. So I want to just before we seal up, let us know what are some of the things that they are looking for in a brethren. Ideally, what are the kind of things that they I would think with, and oh, I also want to talk about the economics. Because I counsel brethren, they have to get their money right before they start dealing with the queens, the economic aspect, because a lot of us just go into relationship and you don't have no money and it never works. You know what I mean? What are some of the things that you're looking for? And by extension, in terms of economic stability, what does a brethren need to aim for in terms of annual income, these kind of things? To make it realistic with the eye.
Okay, first, I want to say, don't worry about the time. I did alert my client that I may be a little bit, so we can go about 10 to 15 minutes over. But give thanks for that question because it is a highly important one because for one, it needs to be talked about without the stipulation that a woman is a gold digger. Yes. And it needs to be talked about truly and honestly for people to move past and have a healthy relationship. True, I believe that a man and woman should make an income. I am, however, a traditional woman, and I believe that if a man is going to be the head of the household and a woman is going to be helping take care of the children in the house and such and such and such, that a man needs to know his purpose and be able to provide for his family. I don't believe in putting numbers to a man. I don't believe in saying, oh, he gotta have blah, 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 blah. I'm not that type of person. As long as he is financially healthy and stable and has been that way before meeting me, I'm comfortable because I already know that I can handle myself if push comes to shove. I want to avoid having to deal with the man having to rely on me. I just came out of a situation where I put all my time and energy into someone and almost lost my business because I stopped taking clients. I stopped working because I was literally doing everything for this man. I was putting my all into him, trying to show him that I'm the queen for you. And unfortunately for him, he wasn't interested in that. And true, Jah has a plan for everything because through that, it showed me what kind of woman I am. I feel as though if I wouldn't have went through that situation, I wouldn't have known what kind of wife I will be to a man. Because if I can be that type of wife to someone who's not really interested in me as a Rasta woman and who prefers another type of woman, I can be that to the man that the Most High has in store for me. Beautiful. So for me, they need to have their purpose firm, standing strong, and be able to be financially stable and provide for a family. And I don't want to put a number to that because
Can you respect a man that makes less than the eye but is still stable? So if you're the maximum, will that respect still be high if he's diligent in his work but he's just not earning the same as the eye? Because for a lot of, especially in America, a lot of Black women make more money, especially if they're educated. Their opportunities, they fit better into corporate culture. They climb the ladder, and then the virgin might be doing hustling different things. And so the sister might make more. But could you respect a man who makes less than the eye if he's still a diligent worker?
Yes, I have no problem dealing with the man who is on his journey to fulfill his purpose as long as he is steadfast on the journey. If you're unsure of what you want to do with yourself, unsure about making money, that's what scares me, because that means you will maybe get too comfortable and relying on me. I don't have a problem with a man making less money than me, because at the end of the day, we're both bringing in income for the tribe. So it really doesn't matter who's bringing in more, because it's going into
With the
one.
one part,
As
yeah.
long as you're diligent, yeah, as long as you're being diligent as a man, I'm fine with it.
So he can't come home and play video games and kick up him foot then. That's not gonna work.
That's the tough one, because I don't really know how I feel about the video games thing. I don't know. Whew, it'd have to be a good video game or something. Whew, maybe Donkey Kong or Mario Kart or something. I don't know. And maybe you have to get up. Maybe you have to be one of the little
Yeah,
Nintendo things. You get up
the
and
one
move.
where you get up and move. So you hear that, brethren, video game thing. And right now is Armageddon. So you should be diligent on your mission right now. We don't have too much time for the games and them kind of thing right now, to be honest. Um, I think you can easily get sucked into the matrix, I'm an artist as well, and I have a song where I say Babylon coming with the microchip, and the video game is like the new matrix, because you can get trapped in these alternate worlds. And when you shut off the game, you have not advanced in your real life at all, and you've put in so many hours, So we have to be careful. I'm not anti, because I consider myself very nerdy too. I get into all of the sci-fi. I love all of them things there, but you have to balance, the pursuit. So, I think this reasonable. What you outlined, in terms of a brethren, I think is reasonable. Do you have any children currently?
No, no children. The only child that I have is my niece. I do help take care of my 12-year-old niece. So she is my child for now. And the family.
And you're willing to have children for the right brethren? Give thanks. Give thanks. So, brethren, you see, this is a royal, beautiful African Empress here. So they're out there, but you have to be ready. So what are just some final songs that you what would you like to see, or what do you think would make it easier to bring together brethren and sistren, like-minded?
Communication, trust, and really taking the time to get to know someone fully. I realize that I don't know if it's due to social media or whatever, but it's a lot of people who really aren't getting to know their person, or as we used to say back in the day, we're not courting no more. We're not courting each other. We're not asking, what's your favorite color? When's your birthday? What do you like to do? What's your hobbies? We're not asking those things. So when we start to deal with someone 3 months down the road, and we're like, who is this person? We have those questions because in the beginning, we didn't ask them who they were. So I would like to see people taking the time to get to know one another and kind of taking it old school and courting the person, vetting them correctly, not over vetting them and under vetting them, having that balance of getting that knowledge that you should in order to progress with this person, or in order to cut this person off.
Yes, very important. I want to just thank the eye, because again, this is going to be a whole series. I'm thinking, as you're talking, maybe even creating a private group where we can put single Rastafari people in that group, so that they can connect with one another. So I'm gonna have to reason up with I'm on team and see what we can come up with, because this is something that you're in California, but your brethren might be in Ghana. He might be in Jamaica or St. Croix, or he might, you know what I mean? So we have to find a way, and because you have brethren that everything you're saying right now is like a breath of fresh air, you know. They want to hear that. They're looking for a sister, and they don't have to explain about His Majesty, and especially with raising the children, this is a big issue. You know, if you're, because the mothers are the first teachers of the youth. So if your sister is not dealing with what you're dealing with, this is where a lot of conflict in relationships come from. So having a queen like Empress Gennie, who is already citing His Majesty, citing up the chart with Empress Men, and is invaluable, I would think, for a single Rastafari brethren. Also, she wants to have children. So these are the things that you know, uh, we want to promote on this platform. And I want to just thank you, because it takes a brave soul to reason on these topics, because again, this has been a taboo conversation within Rastafari. We talk about history, we talk about, you know, politics, prophecy, but we don't talk about relationships, you know. It's not a topic. So tell us now, what is your plan in terms of, are you going to do anything differently to try to find that love, or what does the future look like for the eye?
The future for me is healing through the Most High. I realize that you truly, truly have to completely heal yourself in order to let someone in. And I
Yes.
want to continue growing and letting myself, I guess, open myself up. I also want to build myself back up financially due to my unfortunate events this year. So
Yeah.
I want to make sure that I'm stable, and I plan on leaving California and finding someone not from here and starting my journey. But I ultimately, before that even, want to leave California, find a community of same-minded people, and, you know, feel the energy the right way, because I don't really have a full grasp of what it's like to be a Rastafari woman in California. I haven't been to a lot of gatherings or celebrations. I've only been to one, because I'm not sure if you know, the Rasta community here is kind of all over the place, so it's not a lot of gatherings in different places. So I haven't
Yes.
been to a celebration like that. I want to go. I want to
Oh,
go to
wow.
celebrations. You know, I want someone to show me that part of Rastafari. I haven't had anyone except for one want to bring me to a celebration. It's more of, oh, you can't go, or you can't go, and it breaks my heart, because I have to sit here as an American woman and be a Rasta, but I don't go to celebrations. I feel like that's not righteous. So I
No,
want
no.
to leave
And you
this
will
place.
love it. You will love it. You will love it. When there is a mass of there's nothing like that feeling, having a lot of Rastafari family, children running around, the whole, you know, I mean, I'm a Nyabingi virgin, so, you know, I love Nyabingi celebrations and the heartbeat, the drums, judgment fire. To me, that's heaven on earth. Um, what I'm gonna do is, we have the iDoor study group. So we have a study group every other Saturday where we read the teachings of His Majesty. I'll share you, I'll add you to that group. I'm gonna plug in the eye to some Rastafari network. I'll also introduce the eye to Empress, Rases Jazanai Kush, the Blue Fire Sistrin. They have a sisters collective of Rastafari Sistrin that I can tap into. They do eye treats, and, you know, in South Florida, they have one coming up, I think, in March.
Oh, wow.
They have other things that they do, you know, Blue Fire Sistering to cultivate the Rastafari woman. So definitely this is just the beginning. I am the Dejazmatch Kwasi. I am the commander of the gate. So that means connection. That's part of my mission, part of my purpose. So the I reaching out on Facebook, you have started a chain reaction, you know, and we're going to plug in the eye to the global family, because I can see that the eye is sharp and we need sistering like the eye. based on where we're going. And as we re-enter the continent, we want to come in strong with strong families. So final words to the Lion Pride, and just anything that you want to share, your business connection, if people want to support your movement, whatever you're doing, just share that information for us.
Well, again, give thanks truly. I appreciate the opportunity to share my reasonings and thoughts about the current situation. I just wanted to let everybody know, especially the Empress who on the same journey as me, who feel as though they're the only ones going through it. You're not the only ones. Just stay true to who you are. And if you feel that it's not right, it's okay to cut the energy off. It's okay to be by yourself, because it's better to be by yourself than have to feel that you're by yourself with someone else. I also want to let people know that I do consider myself quite knowledgeable in the dread world. So if anybody has any issues with anything dread, true, I know you can't see my nati right now, but
yes,
if you want to take a leap of faith and try me out and have questions about breakage, how to take care of your hair, feel free to reach out on my Facebook. And you can find my Instagram there. And I just want to let the Rastafari people know that give thanks for staying upon the journey and continue to do what you do, and don't let this world stray you from who you are.
and we'll share your Facebook links. Do you do online consultations?
Yes, most definitely. I could do one via Zoom.
Exactly. So this is global. Support the sistering. We want to circulate the Rastafari dollar and the Pan-African dollar. So definitely support the sister. Let's put some resources there. Do you deal with scalp issues as well as locks?
True, in California, there is no board certification license for braiding or dreadlocks, but I do a lot of things with dreads. The only things I can't do is cut hair, add chemicals, but I stay away from that anyway.
Yes, yes.
But as far as things like diagnosing someone with dermatitis or some bacteria, I can't do that. I can help steer them to the right information and tell them when and where to go to their doctor. But as far as other things, yes, I can help provide you with any information regarding what types of oils to use, what types of products to use in your given climate. I know where I live, a lot of people suffer because it's cold and dry, so they don't really know what to do with their locks, and they often think that, oh my God, it's me, my hair is dry, I'm not doing anything right. So any type of question, just come to me and I'll help you figure it out.
Book a consultation, pay the sister for the knowledge base. We have to get into the mind frame of paying and supporting, because the stronger the sister is, the stronger the nation is, you know. So definitely give thanks for the eye. We're gonna bring the eye forward. I want this to be a continuing conversation. The eye is inspired. I am gonna try to come up with some solution for singles. Are you subscribed to the Lion's Voice on YouTube?
Yes.
Give thanks, give thanks. So you see, she is a part of the Lion Pride family. So we give thanks that the eye has come here, share the eye knowledge, and that you are so free with you know, with your sound, and that you have been so transparent with I, even, you know, with your age and your past experiences with brethren. And we heard it directly from the sister's own mouth, and that is critical for this platform. Why? Because the time has come for the lions to tell our own story, and the lionesses. And this is Lion Love.
Lion Vice. She's like the flowers in my garden, and her heart has never hardened, and she give me loving in the morning. Babylon, you are go far without no warning. Black woman, I said I wanna be your lover, and I don't want any other. You alone, I could be my children's mother, but no struggle, so we both could help each other. And then I wanna be your lover, and I don't want any other. You alone, I could be my children's mother, but no struggle, so we both could help each other. village, now we in the city. Journey where we have together, everybody see. Spent a little time out in captivity. Babylon, their plan was to destroy the family. Still I want you to bring a child for me. Maybe in the spring when birds are sing lovely. Maybe we could plan to have a summer baby. I can be the man that you depend on. Put the pen to the paper, made a love song. Babylon, they separated us for so long, and the reason that they hated us was so wrong. Still the most that he created us, we so strong. Then same Kushite and the Dogon. Love your melanin, no follow fi them program. Black woman, me not go pass on you fi no one. No one, that's my slogan. Black woman, I said I wanna be your lover, and I don't want any other. You alone, I could be my children's mother. But no struggle, so people could help each other. Then I wanna be your lover, and I don't want any other. You alone, I could be my children's mother. But no struggle, so people could help each other. She's like the oxygen in my flame. Loving where we have nobody can contain. Love so powerful, survive shackle and chain. Love it cross the ocean way before planes. Love survive them torture, rape and dear pain. When one escape, then the other get blame. That's why I never put no one above you. That's why I'm not ashamed to say I love you. That's why them dirty Babylon, they judge you. Feel the power when I kiss and when I hug you. Hold you for hours when I think about how they grudge you. I'm a lion, so I never gonna bug you.